Share something very, very deep and important with you. Okay. I need mamish silence, fellas. I need mamish silence, please. Okay, let's assume, hopefully, all of us, if you just remember what I told you, Rab Nachman says, the question is not are you happy or are you sad. The question is, are you in paradise or are you in hell? It's up to you. Let's hopefully say you make your way into paradise. And again, I want you to know one thing, maybe later on we have more time to, right now I'm just giving you in a nutshell. Hell also admits that few things are good. Listen, someone is craching and crying, they also admit few things are good. But they say basically it's a rotten world. Hell doesn't say few things are good, few things are bad, but let's be happy with the good. you're still in hell. Heaven is that everything is good. Everything is a miracle. Everything is good. I'll tell you as an example. I'm a teacher. And I'm teaching painting. Okay, so someone makes a little lousy painting. So I say, listen, I'm sorry, it's a lousy painting. As a teacher, I have to tell them. My little girl, I'm a father, right? My little girl of 5 makes a little painting. I'm sure it's lousy. I blow my mind over it. Oh, it's so beautiful. You see, what I want to tell you is there are a lot of things which are not right in the world yet. So are moments when I'm a teacher, I say, listen, this is lousy. This is bad. But there are moments when I permit myself to be in paradise. And I know that everything is good. You know, people walk around saying, oh, everything is good. There are no bad people in the world. It's so beautiful. It's cute, but it's not real. It isn't real. And when we talk to each other about being in heaven, it doesn't mean you suddenly have to be stupid. You know? I spoke to a girl last week, and she graduated one of those, stop mentioning names. It's beautiful. Everything's good. So stupid, It wasn't real. It wasn't even cute. When we talk about being in paradise, that means there are moments when it's clear to me that everything is good. You see, if I walk around and say to myself, I'm perfect, I'm this, I'm that, I'll never grow up. If everything is perfect, why should it become better? And just remember in a nutshell, Shabbos is heaven, during the week is hell. God doesn't want us to live 7 days in Shabbos. God says, I hope you'll make it 1 day in Shabbos. On that day, will help you to keep it together during the 6 days of the week. But please. Rabbi Nachman says, when you meet a true friend, it's like Shabbos. How do you know how much you love a person when you meet them? If suddenly everything is so beautiful, right? And we're talking about those beautiful moments. See, a person who has never been in heaven has never tasted life. Doesn't know anything, right? Even below stupidity. You just don't know what life is all about, right? But then I want to share something very, very deep with you also. There are a lot of people who make it into heaven, and then they meet the hell people, and they look down at them. I was at this workshop for joy, now I'm filled with joy, and you weren't there. Can't even associate with you anymore, Have you ever seen those people who had 5-year analysis, and then they can't even talk to you anymore, because, they're beyond you, right? They're so far advanced, And I was at this intensive weekend, I don't want to say anything bad. I've seen how many divorces happening after some of those intensive weekends. I realized suddenly we don't fit, like, you're fleischig, I'm milchig, things like that. I don't mean that either, God forbid. The first sign if you're in heaven, that when you see somebody who's in hell, you refuse to go to heaven unless this person goes with you. If you see somebody in hell and you say, oh, I knew you'll stay there. You weren't with me at the workshop, right? How could you, right? You were too cheap to come, but let me share this unbelievable story with you. The Heilige Moshe Leib Sassover. This is a heaven story, told by the Holy Rishna, one of my favorite stories. The Holy Rishna says that the Heilige Moshe Leib Sassover, when he came up to heaven, God bless you, everybody knows you don't go to heaven just, you ring a certain bell and there it says heaven and you knock on the door and it says, hi, I'm here. Even in heaven, you have to go through hell first. You have to go, on your way to heaven, you go through hell. The Heilige Moshe Leib goes through hell, suddenly he stops. You say, hey, Holy Moshe Leib, what's going on there? He says, I refuse to go one step further. Unless everybody here in hell goes with me, I'm not going to heaven. A big tumult, and to make it very short, the heavenly judges come down and say, Moshe Leib, what's going on here? And open your hearts, that's what he says. If God wants me to be in heaven, that means I should live in eternal bliss. As long as I know that there are people in hell, I cannot live in eternal bliss. So if God really wants me to be in heaven, I have to take all of them with me. Strong claim. This was the verdict. The two versions, and both of them are beautiful. The first verdict was, let's investigate it. If you ever had a chance to do somebody a favor, and you didn't do it, you can't get anybody out of hell. But if your whole life, whenever you had a chance to do somebody a favor, you did it, you can get people out of hell. They investigated his whole life, and Moshe Leib never said no. So, whoever was in hell walked out with him. As the Rishna says, the sad thing is, it didn't take long and hell was full again. That's the end of the first version. The second version is more beautiful. And still open your hearts, friends. The second version is that they said, as many favors as you did to people, that is how many people you can get out of hell. And the most beautiful thing is, in his whole life, he did as many favors as there were people in hell. You know how deep this is, friends. How do you think you get somebody out of hell? Giving them a speech? When you do somebody a favor, you can get them out of hell. Someone walks around crying, life is miserable. Don't give them a book on heaven. Don't send them to a psychiatrist without hurting anyone. Do them a favor from the deepest, deepest, deepest depths of your being. You get them out of hell. You get them out of hell. And the acid test is, Moshe Leib Sassover really got them out of hell because he was a heaven person. Because he was a heaven person. His place was heaven. And one more thing, friends. If you are a heaven person, and you know how deep it is, how beautiful to live in eternal bliss, then you know the pain of people who are not in eternal bliss. If you never made it into heaven, you're just pretending you don't know heaven and you don't know hell. You know nothing. God forbid. You know why the rabbis were so holy? Because they really knew what heaven is. They knew that everything is from God, everything is beautiful. But they didn't put it on you. When you came, you were crying. They didn't, oh, everything is from God. Don't cry, it's good. Mazel tov. Someone says, I'm in pain. Most probably you deserve it. God did it. No. You push them deeper into hell. And here I want to share one more story with you. Just open your hearts. There's a real good amshon of a story because it's from the Holy Woke, Mendele Woke. Der heilige Mendele Woke, I wish you would have time to talk about him, or just listen to the story. A Yidder came to him, a little Jew came to him, and he says, Rebbe, my child is so sick, I don't think my child will make it, God forbid. But Mendele Woke closes his holy eyes for a few minutes and says to the Father, I'm sorry. The gates of heaven are closed. Now what can you do? Can you imagine how broken this person is? Goes back on his wagon and drives back home. What can you do? From Woke to his city was maybe 4 hours driving. After 2 hours driving, she hears horses really fast. He looks around, the Rebbe's coming. Mendele Woke was a very special horse driver. She knew exactly, without whipping the horses, because in Woke you don't whip horses. You hold them in such a way that they want to run. And he would stand on the wagon, he would never sit down. He would haul the horses, and it was like a missile. And everybody knew, because, anybody who knows Kabbalistic terms knows the wagon in heaven, Ma'aseh Merkava. And anybody who knows the wagon from heaven knows the secret of leading a wagon here in this world. Mendele Woke, when he was 5 years old, his father was in Rizhin, and the Rizhin would drive out every afternoon in his wagon. And to make it very short, his father was invited to drive out with the Rizhiner. He was 5 years old. He says, Rebbe, I want to go with you. He says, why? The Rizhiner asks his boy at 5. He says, because I know how to lead the horses. The Rizhiner says to the Woke, where did you get such a great soul into this world? So the Woke says, it was a gift from him, the one who lives forever. Okay, so this is the Woke. Comes with the horses, stops most probably 1 inch short of the wagon. He says, come down. The Holy Woke sits down under a tree. And he says to him, listen, my dear friend, even if I cannot cure your son, even if I cannot help you, but the least I can do is cry with you. And the Holy Woke sat down. Both were crying. And suddenly the father realizes the Woke cries much more than him. Because the Woke knew how precious every little baby is. Suddenly the Woke opened his holy eyes and he says to him, hey, to the shamas, where's the shamas? Where's the bodyguard? Bring some wine and some lekach. And he said, L'chaim, we just opened the gates of heaven. So I want to share this with you, friends. When you see a hell person, even if you cannot get them out of heaven, out of hell, don't be ashamed to go to hell with them. Because real heaven people can go to hell also. For somebody else, I go to hell. Then you get them out. And friends, real people know how to cry and know how to laugh. People who only laugh are not normal. And people who only cry are not normal. The beautiful thing about this world is there is laughing and there is crying. The beautiful thing about the world is that there is heaven and there is hell. There is pain and there is joy. And the real secret of life is to know where to be and when. And the deepest, deepest joy is the joy of all joy. If you know the little shuttle train which goes in between, right? Hold on to your ticket if you have it. And the deepest, deepest, deepest joy is if you ever shuttle back to hell. And you can get a few people with you on your wagon. Gewalt, is that good? Why do we invite guests Friday night? You can't have Shabbos without guests. Because that's the whole idea. What good is it if I'll be in heaven if some other people are in hell? I want to take you with me. Why do we invite guests when you have a wedding? Is there more heavenly than two people loving each other? I want to get you out of hell also. And is there any greater joy in the world than doing somebody a favor? Is there any greater joy in the world when you see somebody crying and you give them life, give them 1 ounce of joy, give them 1 ounce of hope? Because, friends, Rab Nachman says the greatest crime is to take away somebody's self-confidence, to take away somebody's hope. And the greatest thing in the world is if you can give it to somebody. Because the only way of getting into heaven basically is by giving it to somebody else. And that kind of joy which comes from heaven is only given to you at that moment when you give it to somebody else. You know, it says, Sisir Yerushalayim. How do you get joy? If I give joy to Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim is that place in our hearts in the world which is destroyed. And if you rebuild it a little bit, Gewalt is that good, Gewalt is that good. And again, sweetest friends, believe me, I'm sure you know it anyway. People who don't believe in God don't have joy. They have fun. Joy? No. I remember, I think I told you, I once was sitting with some communists in Belgium, Shomer Tzeir, you know, Jewish young people, real communists. I'm sitting with them and I said to them, okay, you know what? Let's exchange religion. I'll be a communist and you'll be, like, so to speak, frum. But it has to be a fair exchange. Look what I'm giving you. I'm giving you Shabbos, Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot. I'm giving you joy. I'm giving you heaven to the utmost. What can you give me back for an exchange? Do you have any holiday do you have one Shabbos in your life? Do you have one ray of hope? One ray of beauty? You're gloomy people, right? So it's not a fair exchange, so I'll stick to mine. Anyway, I got through to them, you know. Josh, do you mind if you make a little circle? Because, yes? It's a good idea for 5 minutes? Oh, you wanted to say something special? Okay, friends, we have to get up anyway. So let's all get very close, make the most beautiful circle in the world. Listen, can someone give me my things for my guitar? Can you friends not cool off and I want silence, really? There's no need for talking right now. Can you come much closer? No, you can't be Julian. As much as I love you, I bet you to come much closer. A Jewish circle doesn't have to be round. Okay, why don't you all really come up here and just forget about the circle. I need it for 1 second. You know, sweetest friends, that Tzemach Tzedek, the holy Tzemach Tzedek, was accustomed that every night his holy grandfather, the Alter Rebbe, would come to him from the other world and teach him. At one point he didn't come for 4 weeks. Obviously, began searching inside, something wrong with me. Thinking about it. One morning on his way to shul, you know, Lubavitch is a little city, so all the rabbis were accustomed to put on talis and film at home. Then with the talis over their faces, they'd go to the shul. He stopped by a little yidel and he says, Rabbi, I need 10 rubles so badly because today is a market day, and if I had 10 rubles I can buy something and sell it and make enough money to feed my family. The Rabbi says, I don't have 10 rubles on me, but after I finish davening in 2 hours, maybe I can do something for you. Goes to shul. Suddenly he realized, Gewaltem Eierhof. Gewaltem Eierhof. God can wait. This Yidele needs 10 ruble right now. Because in 2 hours the market is over. And he really looks at himself, Gewaltem Eierhof. Gewaltem Eierhof. Took off talis and tefillin, ran around to a few Jews until he got the 10 ruble together. Then he went to the marketplace to look for the Yidel, and Nebuchadnezzar was still looking for somebody to give him 10 rubles. He gave him the 10 rubles. Then he came back to the synagogue. And when he came there, the Alter Rebbe, his grandfather, was already waiting for him. He smiled, he says, hey. You know, friends, God has always time. People need you so badly. And you know what's so beautiful about this world? The most beautiful thing in this world is that you can make friends. In heaven you can love each other. In heaven nobody needs friends because you have everything. Because in this world there is heaven and there is hell. And you need a friend to get you out of hell. This is what makes this world so beautiful. The Holy Jikava says, when you come up to heaven, even before you go through the door, they ask you, did you make at least one good friend while you were there? So friends, you know, with all the teaching about joy, but the most important thing is not how much joy you have. The deepest question is, how much are you ready to bring joy to somebody else? How much are you ready to go to hell for somebody else? And again, I want you to know, friends, if you go to hell for somebody else, suddenly hell turns into heaven. Give me this book for 1 second. Can someone tell the children to be quiet really for 1 second? There's not the time. Okay. Now listen to this. This is way out. Everybody knows Yitzchak is called laughter. Yitzchak knew the secret of joy, obviously, right? It was called laughter. Listen to this. Yitzchak was ready to die before God every second, right? Because the binding of Yitzchak was not just a one-time shot. This was what Yitzchak was all about. Yitzchak is ready to give his life for God every second. So why was he called laughter? So as much as he was ready to die before God, to give God his life, that's how much he was ready to die every second in order to be b'simcha. That means Yitzchak is ready to die 1,000 times, but not to stop for 1 second to be b'simcha. I'd rather die than not to be happy. Otherwise you don't get it. And he says the truth is, you know what's so deep? The special thing about God is that you have to look for him every second. Why do we say Shema Yisrael twice a day? I knew it from this morning, I knew it from yesterday now. You have to look for God twice a day at least. I'm looking for God all day, I'm looking for God all night. Each time is a different kind of finding. And Gewalt is that sweet. Gewalt is that sweet. You know, friends, the most beautiful thing is even the people we love, we don't love them madly every second. And the most beautiful thing is that we always have to start all over again loving them. And isn't that the greatest glory of God? When something beautiful shines into you. When the deep, all that is hidden in this world is still hidden. You know what means Yitzchak never left the Holy Land? It means Yitzchak is always hidden away somewhere in the Holy City. The Holy Land is hidden. It says Yerushalayim Horem Soviflo. Jerusalem is surrounded by mountains. You can't see it. It's so holy, it's so deep. And when that deepest depths is inside of you, Gewaldig, you're filled with utmost bliss, with joy. One more thing. The world is filled with fear, not only with pain, with fear. I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of this. This one will laugh at me, this one will spit at me, this one will think I'm not normal, this one will think who knows what. There is no way out. There's only one way. If you're absolutely filled with joy, with simcha, there is no end to fear, only joy. Because if you're filled with joy, you're not afraid of anything in the world. You know, Yitzchak says to Yaakov, Al tiro avdi Yaakov, don't be afraid, Yaakov. Because deepest depths, Yitzchak, mamash, when he gave the blessing to Yaakov, he knew there's an eternal struggle between those two brothers, between good and evil. But Yitzchak, mamash, so to speak, God spoke out of him, and it says, Al tiro avdi Yaakov, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. One more thing, this is so beautiful. I think I told it to some of you, but I have to say it again. If you want to become one with somebody else, only with joy. Why is there so much joy at a wedding? Not because there is a wedding, there is joy, it's the other way around. Without the great joy, there won't be a wedding. Because how can you put two people together unless they reach the heights of their joy? The less joy you have, the less you're one with somebody else. Sad people are not one with each other. Everybody's sitting in the corner moping by themselves. The more you're filled with joy, the more you can be one with somebody else. So when do people say, we want to get married? So all their friends come and make themselves crazy with joy in order to put them together. And the same between us and God. Unless you're filled with joy, you're not one with God. So here you walk around sad, I'm looking for God and I can't find Him. I mean, sure you can't find Him because you're filled with sadness. You can't taste Him. There's no other way. Why will the whole world be one with God when Mashiach is coming? Why will the whole world be one with each other? Why will there be peace in the world? Because people are filled with joy, have no problem relating to each other. Here everybody's talking about peace in the world. That's not the point. You need joy in the world. Make life beautiful for the world. They'll make peace by themselves. You don't worry about it. I have to tell you my favorite story. Favorite story. I told some of you, but it's still very strong in my heart. Just imagine there is one person in the world I hate so much, I'm not going to really kill him in the last moment, but I'm close to it. Can't stand this person. Really, can't. So, what can you do? And here, bless me to live to see my children's wedding. Here, my neshama is getting married, Be'ez Hashem. And it's the highest moment of my life. Baruch Hashem, God gave me life to see my daughter going to the chuppah. And I'm standing on the table dancing with my daughter. I mean, how far can you go? Closest moment of my life to heaven and to earth. Suddenly the door opens, and that disgusting creep, whom I hate, walks through the door. You know what I'm doing? I'm jumping off the table. Am I kissing him? I say, my dearest, most beautiful brother in the world, why are you so late? There's joy, there's no hatred. Da Thank you so much.
Good. Like that.
I thought he was probably raised in
Shlomo already asked me.
Well, he did.
Let me ask David in charge.